welcome to the Higher Above podcast, brought to you by the amazing people that work over at the CCPD, Center for Career and Professional Development. My name is Edson O'Neill. During the day-to-day, I serve as a student employment and JLD coordinator, but today I'll be your host. I'm joined by my esteemed colleague, Miss Kimberly Steele. How are we doing today?
Doing great. Thanks so much, Edson.
All right. Awesome. And we're also joined by our guest today, Miss Donna Milakovic. How are we doing today?
I'm doing great, Edson. Good
All
to be
right,
here.
awesome.
Thanks for having me.
All right. Donna serves on the CCPD team as a director of strategic initiatives and brings a wealth of knowledge and is an expert in what we're about to talk about today, which is networking. There's always been questions as far as what is networking? How do I do it? Is it necessary? Is it important? So we want to kind of talk about that and bring some information, resources for you to kind of help you with your networking if you're having questions about it. So, Donna,
Yes.
as we start off our episode, can you talk to the audience as far as how would you define networking? What is it and why is it important?
Awesome. Thank you. So, networking, I know we think about in IT, networking is connecting all of the different systems together, applications, software, or hardware. And in life, networking is very much like that too. It's the connections you have. It's connecting your relationships across multiple different parts of your life. And so you can have business relationships, and networking would be connecting those different people together, or just to you. So you're the kind of hub of this network of relationships. And it's important because most of the time our opportunities in life come through the people we know and not just through randomly. It's not like somebody's going to walk up and randomly just offer you a position or a job or
That'd be nice.
Or I won the lottery, here, let's share. No, it's not
awesome.
really like that, right? But more than 80% of jobs usually are found in that second layer of your network. So it's maybe not your brother that finds you a job, but maybe your brother's boss or your brother's best friend's dad or your best friend's dad, or somebody has an opportunity for you. So it's that second layer of networking, research shows, that really helps you to gain opportunities in life.
All right, awesome. That's great, analogies with the networking and doing all that. That was a great analogy.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
I like that. And so now, going from big picture to something a little bit more personal, Donna, can you share with us your first experience with networking?
Yes. When I think about this, networking is something that I've done naturally, but my first experience really with networking was in 5th grade. I had moved from Florida to New York in the middle of a school year. I didn't have any friends in the new school, right? I was the new girl, and I didn't know anybody. There was one girl who was really, really kind to me. And as I got to know a few of the other people in the class, they were like, oh, you don't want to be friends with her. You won't have a good reputation or whatever. And I just, I remember even in 5th grade saying, well, I think I can be friends with everyone. And I think that, this person who's really kind to me deserves my friendship. And so I was, through the rest of that school year, able to navigate being friends with everyone. And I think that's where I didn't recognize it at the time, but that's where I really started building networks, where I had multiple friend groups and multiple groups that I was a part of.
Mm-hmm. That's awesome. Yeah, and it goes to show you can be in 5th grade and start building that network. It's never too early.
Kindergarten. I mean,
Never
who knows?
too
Never too early.
Exactly.
Never too early.
But no, really appreciate sharing that. That's awesome. Amazing. And when you were getting started with networking, as you started to maybe start your first job or you're getting into your career, were there any challenges that you ran into when you were getting started in that area?
Yeah, so it's interesting because, like I said, networking is connecting, right? It's connecting with people. And I generally just do that kind of naturally. It's one of my strengths, is connecting people to each other and connecting with people pretty easily. And so, but there are occasionally people that just are difficult to connect to.
If we're being honest. Yes.
Very.
And that's usually a sign for me to pay attention to. Is it me, or is it really that, this person just isn't kind of connecting with me, or, but what I've found, honestly, the answer to that is I haven't really had a lot of trouble or challenges connecting. When I do run into that. I often find that the more you know people, the more you understand, the easier it's really hard to dislike people up close. The closer you get to people, the more you understand their challenges, the more you understand what they're going through. The easier it is to understand and empathize with them.
Right.
That being said, there are definitely people who operate in this world in a way that I don't, that I don't align with, right? So there are people who will take advantage of you, or people who, I did have not so much a challenge, but the idea of networking and giving people a chance to connect is really important to me, and I believe that. And getting closer to people and understanding, what drives them and who they are, is really important. And then there was a time in one of my jobs, it was one of my first executive positions, and I was feeling very, very vulnerable actually. And we had an employee who was unethical, and we gave her the benefit of the doubt for a long time, and then found that we had to really kind of dig in and set boundaries there, and that was hard. It was hard to be betrayed in that way, to have somebody be completely unethical and basically stealing from us, and have to kind of let go. But I think it's important that even in those times where we find something like that happening, and we really have to, you can lose faith in people, but I think it's important that you lean into your other relationships and strengthen those. I really, really didn't want to distrust because of that experience. And so it was actually my network that helped me kind of work through that and get through that process. And the other employees and my particular boss, who was a stellar coach and team leader at the time. So
yeah. And sometimes you also keep that big picture, because it's true, when you have those experiences, it like, well, I should just close myself off and no more new connections.
Correct.
But to your point, keeping the big picture in mind of how many other positive experiences have I had, I'm going to try not to let that one negative experience taint those other situations.
Yeah.
So thank you for sharing. That's really good to hear.
I really appreciate you sharing that, so the audience can see that when you go through situations like that, it's a teachable moment.
Yeah.
It's a learning curve, right? So it's something that you have to go through some of these situations to kind of learn how to balance and how to adapt and how to pivot and how to do different things. And you learn, and in those situations you learn a lot more about yourself as an individual, and you grow. So thank you for sharing that information. And for our audiences, please, don't be scared of it. Invite it and really learn, and really allow it to really help you to grow from those experiences. So you saw Donna shared, Kim, I know you've gone through some experiences. I definitely have gone through them as well. So definitely don't shy away from those types of situations.
They're both positive in their own way.
Absolutely.
It's going to help build that process. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Also, absolutely. So when it comes to networking, Donna, you shared a lot of information as far as what does it mean. You shared some great things you got from it. You shared some instances where it didn't go too well. So with all that being said, can you talk about what are the benefits of networking? If people are like, I don't want to network because I don't see the benefit in it, what can you tell our audiences, what are some of the benefits, so that they can see a bigger picture when it comes to that?
Yeah, absolutely. I think the benefits are endless, really. For me, most of the jobs that I found in my life, most of my work has come through somebody that I know. Somebody pointed something out that I know. And so whether that's a family member, a friend, a neighbor. I actually had a neighbor one time who was like, hey, I know you like to write, and there's this thing I saw in the newspaper. And she actually introduced me to my first journalism job. Wow. And she wasn't a journalist, and she had nothing to do with journalism, but she was my neighbor, and she knew I liked to write. And so that's how I got my first gig as a journalist. Was just following up on a lead that my neighbor gave me.
Awesome.
And so you never know where life's going to take you, and you never know kind of what other people are going to share with you, and opportunities that may open up. One of the things, and I used to run kind of a networking group through our Chamber of Commerce, and one of the principles that I learned from a business locally at the time was to not make assumptions about people when you meet them, and to really not one of the benefits of networking is that it can be really natural, and you're doing it whether you want to do it or not. You have classes, you have classmates, you have faculty members, you have people you're interacting with, you're sending messages. I have children who are gamers. They're connecting with people online a lot, and
there you go.
And one of the things I was going to say about that is it can happen naturally, and you really don't want to assume things about people. And I would never have believed, like, if you told me, hey, this neighbor is going to point you at a job that you're going to love, I would have been like, really? Because that doesn't seem like her. And so I think you just take people, learn their stories. I've gotten to know a lot of different people and a lot of different stories, and they've shaped my life. The people in my extended network and my close network have shaped my life. But again, I'm one of those people that has 5 best friends. So I'm not very good at letting go of people either. Like, I have 5 best friends, and you may not be like that. You may only have 1 best friend. And that's okay too. But the benefits are just the joy and excitement that getting to know people brings to your life, the opportunities for work, the opportunity to grow and reflect and learn about other cultures and the way other people live and the way other people believe and the way other people think. It just expands your horizons. And then honestly, it is translated into monetary growth for me. It's translated into job security and financial security, and always knowing that, wherever I am, I can find work, or I can find something. I just had somebody reach out recently with a contract opportunity, and I was like, wow, like, just knowing people helps when things come along, and being somebody that's easy to know, being somebody that doesn't make assumptions about people. That's, what I learned from a mentor of mine was that she always wanted to be somebody people wanted to work with again. So everybody I work with, that's a network, right? That's your reputation. And reputation's really important when you're networking. And so I always want to be somebody that you want to work with again, that you want to work with a second time or a third time. And there are people in my life. I know. There are people in my life I've worked with multiple times. So, and this is one of them. I met this faculty member as we were co-leads on a leadership program, and then she moved to a different university. I've moved to a different university, but we stayed connected. It's been great.
That's amazing. I love that, because it shows how, this podcast, we're focusing on how this can connect to work and all of that, but this is life advice, really. Honestly, you're getting life, both
people, relationships, everything.
This is why you're listening.
It does everything.
But it's really true, and I think having that open attitude, sometimes if you show that you're open, it helps other people make those connections. Makes it much easier.
100%.
Yeah. And to jump off of that, so some may be listening to this and going, okay, well, that sounds great. I want to be open. But if I can share a little more transparently, I know I'm here on the podcast and we're sharing, we're chatting. My default setting, viewers, is I am an introvert, and I can turn on the extroverted side. But I'm going to have to go and recharge after this, because this is taking a lot of my social battery, even though I love it and I love our people here today. But sometimes, especially for those of us who are a little bit more on the introverted side, or maybe we're just new to this, the idea of, okay, I'm going into this room full of people and I'm supposed to be networking, I'm supposed to be feeling open, but how do I actually do that? How would you advise someone in that position, Donna?
Yeah, I think a lot of us experience some kind of social awkwardness when there's large groups. I actually love to charge into a group and get to know people, but
I wish I had that power. That's so great. I've learned it, but
one of the best things that you can do, Kim, is to get an extrovert wingman.
I love that. Yes.
Make friends with an
I'll be a wingman.
Awesome.
Make friends with an extrovert.
I got
so look for that person who's talking to everybody in your class and go along with them to whatever event they're going to, and just kind of follow in their shadow. It is good to have. I have a lot of introverted friends and coworkers who, they're always like, hey, do you want to come to this thing with me? And I'm like, sure.
Yeah.
I'm happy to come to a thing where there's people and I can talk to people.
Nice.
But in case you just need to show up all by yourself to something, one of the tricks that I learned from an executive actually who had to do a lot of networking and was really out of her comfort zone, was that she found ways to compliment people. So she would look for she would set herself a little challenge at the beginning of an event, and she would say, I'm going to compliment 3 people on their shoes. And she would love to buy shoes. She loves shoes. So she would like find the coolest shoes in the room and just compliment people on their shoes. And it would start a conversation. So obviously, when approaching strangers, it always is good to have kind of those complimentary moments. Make sure they're sincere and genuine, like it's something you're interested in. But starting a conversation with those you don't know with a compliment or taking advantage of the reason that you're all there. When I go to a writers conference, for instance, we're all there writing. I know I can walk into any room in any of those conference rooms and say, so what are you working on? What are you writing? What do you like to write?
Right.
What have you read lately? Right? Those are my go-to questions. So having a handful or a pocket full of questions, some things that are conversation openers where people really genuinely love to share about themselves most of the time.
It's
So
true.
if you're someone uncomfortable sharing about yourself, then have a couple of questions that you can ask others to allow them to open up and share with you and be a good listener.
Yes.
Being
That's
a good
valuable.
listener is important. Noticing things like shoes and complimenting people is important. And then if you can find a wingman who's an extrovert, that's another good tip.
Does that mean get adopted by an extrovert?
Yes.
I love that. Awesome. Thank you so much.
You're
That's
so
very
welcome.
helpful.
All right. Awesome. This is some good nuggets, y'all. So make sure y'all taking notes now. So Donna, earlier you mentioned you started networking way back in 5th grade,
Yes.
right? So to our audience, when is the best time to start networking? Is there a time like should everyone start networking at 5th grade, 1st grade, kindergarten? You know, when they're a baby and being held by their parents and they're like, I'm trying to network with you.
Well, yeah.
You know, so but when is there a best time to start networking?
If you haven't already, start now. I mean, it's never too early to start. So if you're here in a university, like we're talking about different students and students and others who may be listening, you have a goal. You have a goal to learn. You have a goal to go into a career. You have a goal to accomplish things. And it's never too early to start. Just kind of creating that community around those goals. You have shared experiences. This is a great place to start with clubs and opportunities within your class. Talk to classmates. Talk to faculty members. It's never really too early to start, but it's also not too late. So if you're a senior and ready to graduate this spring and you're like, I don't feel like I have a network, think about who your friends are. Think about who your family members are, even extended family members. And, you can do a network map and write down people you know and what they might be doing that you might be interested in learning more about. Those are some of the ideas for how to begin your networking. But really, we're all doing it. We are, as human beings, we're connected to other people. And I think about, I have a 20-year-old who's living at home and he doesn't have a huge network, but he does still have a lot of people. If he were to sit down and write it all down, he has more people that he interacts with overall than he does like on a day-to-day basis. So even if you're like my son who loves games and wants to connect online and all of his network lives in the computer with him.
It's still a network.
It's still a network.
It's there.
He's actually getting an apartment with some of those people. And so
there you go.
So it's really
You
like
never know.
you are connecting to people, whether it's traditionally or it doesn't have to be a mixer and it doesn't have to be a club and it doesn't have to be in class.
Correct.
Just look at what it looks like in your life, and then if you have goals that want to go further or you want to reach out more, then make plans for that and stretch a little bit.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Well, that's a perfect segue as we are wrapping up today's episode. We love to end our episodes here on Hireable with a call to action. So, Donna, thank you so much for sharing your thoughts and your expertise with us. If we could share with our listeners one actionable piece of advice, if there's just one step to help people get started with networking, what would you recommend they start with?
Yeah.
Tell them.
I know. I would say start today and just strike up a conversation, whether that's a faculty member, a classmate. And as I've said, don't make assumptions about what people know. Like, networking isn't necessarily like connecting with, the person at Chick-fil-A who's giving me my food, unless you have a long conversation and you may find out you're in class together and that kind of thing.
Absolutely.
But find somebody you have something in common with, whether it's a course or a club, or you always sit at the same table, or you always study at the same time, or somebody in the library. Just find a place where you want to get to know one more person, and then just make that connection today. And if you can make a connection or two a week, or every week, your network grows, and you'll find that even if you're an introvert and it's a little bit draining, it will you will reap the benefits. You'll get the benefits of and the return on that investment of your time and energy. So
awesome.
Start today.
Awesome.
Very good.
Start today, y'all.
Fantastic.
All right, everyone. That concludes our episode for today. Thank you for watching. Please let us know your thoughts, what you got out of it on our socials. Connect with us at the Career Center. We are located in the Student Services Building on the 2nd floor. Schedule an appointment. Come on by. Meet with us if you have questions about networking or anything of that nature, job searches. We are here to help you. All right. So, Kim, thank you so much for co-hosting with me. It's a pleasure as always.
Absolutely.
And I am your new extrovert partner, so I got your back.
Yes, we got this. We got this.
Good.
And Donna, for your experiences and your lifelong information and resources, like you're just like a plethora of resources like right here. So thank you so much for sharing your background and expertise.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, awesome. Well, thank you again. Enjoy, and to everyone, go Bulls.
Go Wolves.
Stay tuned for Campus Conversations with Alexa and Gabby.
Hey guys, it's Alexa. It's Gabby. We're glad to be talking to you guys again. We have some fresh questions, so we're really grateful that you guys ended up clicking the link below and sending us in your questions. If you want to have the possibility of being featured next time, click the link. Anyway, let's get into it. Gabs, to start it off.
Yep.
What's the biggest resume mistake you see that makes you go, yeah, no? This is from a freshman studying health sciences.
Okay, so I'm also studying health sciences, and I think I've been at the Center for Career and Professional Development now for 3.5 years almost. And I think one of the biggest things that I've learned from the career coaches is really focusing on the format. And you don't really have to use all those fancy layouts and those templates, all the colors and stuff. You have to keep it pretty minimal and, watch for your typos and make sure you use examples for formatting. So specific areas are going to require specific things to be featured first, really attention grabbers for the employers. So really use our resources. We have tons of resources, and I think that those are some of the biggest mistakes that I've seen.
That's some great points, Gabs. And honestly, just to add on, the templates that she brought up, that is definitely the biggest mistake, especially nowadays. AI is filtering through most of our resumes before they even get seen by a real person. And if you use a template, it's going to get kicked out immediately because they don't know how to read it.
It's also very important that when you're describing your bullet points, to use action words, really describe the achievement in the role. Even if you don't think it's an achievement, it's what you did in that role, and employers really want to see those actions, include numbers, include that you manage or you facilitated things like this.
Yeah, and like Gabby said, there are lots of resources in this office. Yes. Book your meeting and go talk to a career coach, and they'll be happy to review your resume.
Yeah. Are you ready for yours?
I think I am.
So what's one thing that instantly makes a candidate really stand out?
Absolutely. So whether it's post-interview or post-career fair, it's always following up at the end of the day. Kind of making that initial contact, that's what's going to make you stand out. In this world, there's so many people applying at this point, and there are barely any jobs. So you kind of need to separate yourself from the rest of the group. So a follow-up goes a long way.
Yeah. I 100% agree. I think it's really important, even if it's applying for jobs or anything.
Absolutely.
Just really do it.
Yeah. As soon as you apply for a job, LinkedIn, Handshake, wherever it might be, if you're able to find a contact for that company, even if it's not the exact job poster, reach out to them. And not being like, hey, I'm trying to follow up because I just applied. Being like, hey, this company really stood out to me, this role really stood out to me, and I would love the opportunity to connect.
Yeah. I 100% agree. I think it's great.
You ready?
Yeah.
Okay. So if I don't have experience, how am I supposed to get experience? And this is from a sophomore studying poli-sci.
Okay, so I feel that a lot of college students come in with some experience or little to no experience. And one of the things that I was told when I came in, because I thought I didn't have enough experience, is to join clubs, go to volunteering events. A lot of clubs that you join do have volunteering events. Really recommend. You can get some great skills from those, and seek out internships. Internships are going to be some of the biggest ways that you get that experience, whether it's within your field of study or it's something kind of out of the blue for you. Just do it. And if all those fail, I suggest doing a part-time job of some sorts. Honestly, it could be anything, because of the transferable skills that you'll get. Those transferable skills are super important, and transferable skills come from joining a club, volunteering, internships, all of that. And I think students don't realize how important those are. Like, you could literally be flipping burgers and you are getting skills that you can use in another workforce and field. So 100% just join and do it all. And yeah, I think that's the most important thing.
I could not agree more. You know, at the end of the day, even being able to kind of balance working and being a student, that stands out to recruiters.
It really shows. Recruiters see that you're able to, like, hold multiple roles, and they enjoy that, because a lot of these work environments are very fast-paced, so they want to know that, like, you are able to get with it and be adaptable.
Absolutely. Anyway.
Yeah. So what is the most chaotic interview that you have heard or you've seen? And this is from a junior in accounting.
Okay, awesome. So maybe not chaotic, and this is not to expose anyone, but I will say I have seen before someone go into an interview, actually 2 back-to-back interviews, and they had no clue what job they applied for. Yeah.
No.
Yeah. They walked in, and I'm not even gonna lie, both interviews lasted 5 minutes.
Oh, wow.
Yes. And I spoke to the recruiters afterwards, and I asked how it went, and they were candid. They were like, they didn't know what job they applied to. I asked them basic questions to start off, being like, are you courageous? Are you passionate? They answered no to all of the above. So
what are some things that students can do to avoid that? Like, how can, they...
Absolutely. So I'm a spreadsheet gal myself. Gabby knows this because I literally made her create a spreadsheet as she's applying for jobs when she graduates. You need to keep track. You need to keep track of the jobs you applied to. You need to keep track of the people you tried to reach out to, as well as the link to the job. Sometimes the posting goes offline, but if you save the link, you're able to go back and read to what you actually applied for.
Yeah.
You need to review.
I think also making sure you review the job description, knowing what you're going in for. And one thing that I was told recently that doesn't hurt within an interview is bringing some notes. Bring some notes in about the company. If, like, let's say you are going to an interview here at CCPD, like, write some notes about the office, like who has inspired you, what the roles are, like why it's interest of you, like anything like that I think really helps, and it shows employers that, like, you researched, you prepped, confident. Very important. It shows a lot of confidence in the student.
Absolutely. And you guys need to have questions. When
Yes.
the recruiter is asking you at the end,
100%.
do you have questions?
Ask one.
It doesn't look good if you don't have any. So, like, kind of just pre-plan a couple questions that you're going to ask them regardless. It shows initiative. It shows that you're actually interested. You're a go-getter. You need to ask questions.
Shows that you're curious. You want to know.
Absolutely.
So, yeah,
Absolutely.
that's a great one.
Anyway,
Yeah.
Gabs, the last one for you is actually specifically for you.
Okay.
They wrote, hey, Gabby, how have you been able to balance work, school, and applying for full-time jobs? Because I'm also graduating in May, and this is from a senior studying business management.
Okay, so, God, this is a tough one because it's what I'm going through right now, and it's very overwhelming. It's a lot. I'm going to just say it, like, it is a lot. I'm stressed, but I think one of the most important things and one of the most helpful things was your job tracker. I think it's really helping me,
gosh,
actually.
that's gassing me up. Okay.
Yeah, and it's just helping me keep track of, like, when I applied and where I applied to. And one of the big things that I have been, helping myself with is also carving out time. So I'll give myself half an hour or 2 hours to, like, go through and apply to jobs. But I don't apply to, like, a whole lot right now. I'm going to start getting more into that, but I think it's quality over quantity right now. Making sure that like the quality of like my cover letter and my resume when I apply to these jobs is fit and like, being used to its best. And so, but I definitely think like organization, carving out specific time blocks, the job tracker is amazing for organization, and just don't get too overwhelmed. Do things like outside. I try to only do job applications during the week so that it's kind of like a school thing. Like I can just, schoolwork, do a job application, and then on the weekend it's like I'm stress free.
Absolutely.
And I try not to like overwhelm myself with it too much.
I know it's hard, but we all go through it.
Yeah.
And adulting is real. It really is. And you're like right on that awkward cusp where you have to prepare and kind of get everything in order. And you're doing it amazingly, Gabby.
Thanks.
Genuinely.
Well, with your help, of course.
No, it's all you, buddy. It's all you.
That job track is really helping me, though.
Spreadsheets for the
Yeah. All right, so you ready for your last one?
Yeah, hit me with it.
All right, so what's a red flag and a green flag that students should look for in job postings? And this is from a senior in psychology.
Absolutely. So honestly, specifically on LinkedIn, you can definitely find a lot of spam postings. It can be kind of hard to kind of pick it out, but you need to look at the role and the experience it's asking for. And ultimately, if they're offering you a $150,000 paycheck and you only need 1 to 2 years of experience, that is a red flag. And also, you need to research the company. Yeah. Make sure it's verified. Go see how many people work there. Go see how long it's been there for. And at the end of the day, even you doing your best, you might end up applying for a couple scams. Just be aware in your actual emails that you receive back. Companies will have specific URLs that they'll respond from. Make sure it matches the one on their company site.
Yeah. And if they do require you to use like a platform such as Workday to apply or anything like that, it's totally normal. It's totally cool. Just make sure that when you get the email back, it's like Workday at like CCPD or something. Like make sure that that company name is in that email. And one other thing that I think is really important with what you're saying is that making sure that you look at the locations of these jobs. So make sure that like if you see a location, search it up. Make sure it's like in an office building of some sorts, in a suite, whether it has a standalone or if it's in one larger building. Definitely like check that location.
Absolutely. And also, lastly, if they're asking for your social security or they're asking for you to pay for a course, that is a major, major red flag. An accredited institution is not going to be asking you that for an introductionary interview. That is not the case. On Handshake, we as a team, we try to vet every job that comes in, so you tend to find a lot less scams. Scams can happen anywhere, though. So if you ever have a worry specifically with a Handshake job, please reach out to the office, and we would be more than happy to support you even before you apply. If you're just wondering, hey, this seems kind of funny, we are more than happy to look it over and make sure it's good to go for you. Yeah, we're always here to support.
Always.
Yeah.
100%.
And we're very excited for some further questions.
Yes.
You just have to share it. Keep looking at our socials. Use the link below. And ultimately, thank you for tuning in.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
Bye.